Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Minister for Economy, Honourable Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Members and fellow Fijians. I am delighted to be here this afternoon to show my full support to the phenomenal family-oriented budget of 2018-2019. This budget, if it shows one thing, it shows consistency. Consistency of focus, consistency of purpose, consistency of commitment, and consistency to the long-term good of the people of this country. It is a budget devoid of gimmicks. So I congratulate and commend the Honourable Minister for Economy and his hard-working team. They have delivered to us a budget that is inclusive and family-oriented with a vision of transforming Fiji. And I must mention that this budget, the Honourable Prem Singh was talking about change is coming, but in reality the people of Fiji know the change has already arrived. Change sits on this side of the house. The budget, as I said, builds on previous budgets. Each budget each year has built on the foundation of the previous budget and will ensure that the life and livelihoods of all Fijians are improved and enhanced, and that the most important fabric of society, the family, are able to build themselves up and now and well into the future. If we look at Fiji and how we have been doing in the past few years, we can see the impact of that consistent focus on the big picture, that focus on strengthening institutions. It is seen in nine years of consecutive economic growth with a likelihood of 10. What does this growth mean for us? It means that we can have better infrastructure, better education, better levels of education, roads, health, improved technology, and these all lead to more jobs that ensure that Fijian families have a roof over their heads, shoes on their feet, and food to feed their families. This is exactly what this budget will deliver for our fellow Fijians. In my ministry, we have been given a vision and a target to achieve less than 4% unemployment in the coming years. And we are already on track to achieving this, with the current unemployment rate already sitting at 4.5%, as seen in the last census. We will continue to work towards achieving that common vision on providing employment, and this budget already includes more than enough to work with. Ministry has received a budget of 16.7 billion, and we are looking forward to the different programs that we will implement. We have a National Employment Center that has been created to grow employment and to address unemployment in Fiji. In this budget, the center has an allocation of 4.3 million to deliver its services, which include to improve our seasonal work program, to pursue more workplace attachments, to encourage more placements in the formal employment, to market and promote volunteerism as a career opportunity, and to expand the benefits of remittance and community and village improvement programs undertaken by workers upon returning home. Madam Speaker, the seasonal work program has been of great benefit for our country. We intend to strengthen our involvement in this program by targeting an increase in the numbers, benefiting it also on optimizing their earnings and reducing the payments they have to make. This will be strengthened in the new financial year by the appointment of a liaison officer in Australia to deal directly with our workers and their employers. This officer will provide pastoral care to seasonal workers, track remittances sent back home, market our clients in Australia, and encourage more uptake of workers by employers in Australia. We will continue to focus on workers from rural and maritime areas that are some distance away from urban areas. We will also continue to ensure that we only send workers offshore who are physically fit and pass their medical assessments. We will continue to monitor our returning seasonal workers on how they can make the most of their savings to improve their lives and the lives of their families and communities. Such follow-up activity will be enhanced. We have seen that out of this program, our workers are able to improve their homes, purchase outboard motors, and personally improve the lives of their families by setting up canteens, or buying cars or farming equipment and so forth. We will continue to stay connected with the families of these workers and visit them and provide pastoral care. Through our development cooperation with other regional countries, we have been able to place retired nurses and teachers in neighboring regional countries for volunteer work. We have identified projects to be facilitated by the Fiji Volunteer Service with the engagement of volunteers in different divisions in Fiji. This is a new focus that we have, to grow volunteerism as a career or as a pathway into a career. This move is strengthened by the provision of 1.2 million as the activity budget for volunteer work in Fiji and overseas. From 2012 to the present, we have been able to engage 251 local volunteers and 120 retired teachers and nurses who were placed in Nauru, Tuvalu, Vanuatu and the Marshall Islands. We will continue to work with our regional neighbors to continue this program and look for other opportunities locally and abroad to expand volunteer work. Under the formal employment services, we provide attachment allowances to encourage employers to take in attachees for work experience and to give them the chance to learn and then later on to be absorbed into the formal employment market. Under our budget of 740,000, which has been allocated for this fund will be used to pay for their weekly allowances for the work attachees and provide training also on life skills, professional counseling, aptitude tests and employment skills training. We are now close to publishing and launching Fiji's first national employment policy, a policy that will set the roadmap for growing and sustaining employment in Fiji. The policy looks at a range of different areas, focusing on opportunities for the young, from education to employment, private investments in creating jobs, green jobs and green skill sets, self-employment, overseas employment, generating income for those that rely on subsistence living, gender equality and employment, income earning for persons with disabilities and the elderly, ending child labor and strengthening employment relations. Madam Speaker, apart from programs directly under my ministry, I also want to highlight other initiatives made possible under this government that form part of the budget and directly impact on employment creation. These include the YES program, Young Entrepreneurship Scheme, which is a forward-looking program initiated by government to change the thinking of the young so that they can dream big and create employment instead of just looking to join the workforce. With our youth unemployment at 18% and half of our population below 27, we need to make sure that our programs and our focus is youth-heavy and forward-looking at all times. Our initiatives, other initiatives that will reduce unemployment in Fiji is also seen in the micro, small and medium enterprises grants, social welfare recipients that are earmarked to be assisted to move from welfare to workfare, and the standardizing of road tolls to support roadside vendors along our major highways. All other programs conducted by ministries of trade, agriculture, fisheries, forestry and so forth, all of these programs contribute to developing opportunities for employment. Madam Speaker, our budget allocation also touches on building skills and capacity in the skills trade market. We believe in equipping workers with skills that will help them to get a job and stay in the job. My ministry also has an allocation for the apprenticeship program, where we have a budget allocation of 400,000 to assist apprentices in government entities. Apprenticeship is managed by NTPC, but through this approach we assist the development of skilled workers, as apprenticeship has been proven to be the best way of developing skilled tradespeople. My ministry will work closely with institutions and employers to have the correct balance between labor market demand and supply. This will ensure that our labor market is not flooded with qualifications that are not highly demanded and funds are not wasted investing in low demand skill sets. Madam Speaker, this government not only allows our children to dream, but we also hold their hand to make sure that whatever dream they have, they can achieve this through our free education program. We make sure that every child is able to get an education at the primary and secondary level. For those that want a higher education, we also have the TELS and TOPPERS program that assist our children to achieve their educational dreams. All of these add up to build a workforce that is visionary, that is knowledgeable, that is skilled, and such a workforce is attracting investment into our country. There are now investors that are coming here because of the quality of the workforce that we have. And we have seen the growth of such sectors as the BPOs, business process outsourcing and call centers that are being developed in our country. We hope to see them more in Wairamaitia when it is concluded. Madam Speaker, in building a knowledgeable society, government is also giving civil servants the chance to get a higher education or upgrading their qualifications. This is possible through the Civil Service Scholarship Scheme and the Postgraduate Scholarship Scheme. We are a government that believes in involving everyone and leaving no one behind. In the words of Benjamin Franklin, tell me and I'll forget, show me and I may remember, involve me and I learn. Involvement is exactly what we are all about and what we aspire to become in our education reforms. Madam Speaker, worker welfare and rights is a priority in our work. Our Labour Standard Services has been allocated a budget of $3.4 billion to carry out this work and to ensure that decent work is a reality for Fijians and that social justice is delivered as it should. Effective enforcement and making sure that the law is complied with will be an ongoing work for our Labour Standard Services. We have already recovered this year from non-compliant employers, those are not paying what they're supposed to be paying, of more than $700,000 which has been paid to workers for the dues that were due to them. A total of 3,439 labour inspections were conducted from last year into this year. This is part of our proactive work which will continue in the new financial year. Madam Speaker, $5.3 million has been allocated for our National Occupational Health and Safety Services to promote and enforce the law. Under this, we will continue to carry out the inspections, audits, trainings and awareness. We will look now into tightening our prosecution of non-compliant employers to create a more effective enforcement tool. We will continue to review and formulate new OHS laws, such as regulations dealing with plants, construction, noise, sawmill code and amusement rights codes. Work on our OHS reform will also continue so that hiving off of the National OHS Service to operate as an autonomous body is realized. We will also be looking into reorganizing the National Occupational Health Service to include work that is relevant to achieving occupational health. These include occupational health and wellness and occupational rehabilitation for those that are injured in the workplace. All of these bring us one step closer to creating a safe and healthy workforce in Fiji. Madam Speaker, this government invests heavily in human resources and the welfare of workers and families in Fiji. From January next year, the Workers' Compensation Scheme will operate as a no-fault based scheme under the Accident Compensation Commission of Fiji. With this change, we will have reached a remarkable milestone in giving our workers faster access to social justice. Under the current scheme that we have, it has always been a struggle to pay workers what is due to them. We often end up in court to seek the payments that are due to a worker who has been injured in the workplace and are lucky if you are able to make the payments while the employer's company is still in operation. With a no-fault based scheme, it removes the employer's liability, shortens the time frame to process compensation, and there will always be an available fund to cater for the payments. There is no extra burden on employers, and the scheme will even cater for school children that are hurt in the schoolyard. With this change in the new year, we will still have an allocation of $1.75 billion to cater for compensation for government workers. In terms of the current cases that we are dealing with under the fault-based scheme, these will still be dealt by our current workers' compensation team. Madam Speaker, the health and safety of workers at the workplace must always be paramount and protected. They must also be equally compensated for any injury, disease, or incident at the workplace. A no-fault scheme will ensure a speedy process is in place to cater for all. I fully support the implementation of the no-fault workers' compensation scheme, which will bring much-needed relief to workers and their families. This budget continues our commitment in advancing worker welfare by increasing maternity leave. Maternity leave has now been extended by another 14 days, and this also ensures that we are in line with our international obligations on the maternity leave day requirements. We now meet those international requirements by international convention with this extension. And fathers now can apply for paternity leave to assist during the birth of their child. Not all countries recognize this important leave, but here in Fiji, we can proudly add our names to those countries that ensure that fathers play a role in the early days of a child's life. Under this budget also, we have introduced for the first time a family care leave. Family care leave where families can go and look after things related to their families, because we are a government that puts your family first. This leave will allow workers to attend to their family without affecting other leave entitlements. We have also introduced for the first time family insurance for all civil servants. This will ensure protection for workers and their families, especially for those that are working in the civil service. Mr. Speaker, we are indeed proud also that for the first time in our history, this government has allocated $1 billion towards the education sector. This initiative is important for us in our ministry because it has helped us to tackle child labor. We have noted that with free and compulsory education program, there has been a drastic reduction in child labor. And we are proud to say we have successfully placed children back into school through programs and assistance provided to our children. Under our budget allocation, we will continue to build a pathway to declaring Fiji a child labor-free country. This is our goal, which has been and will continue to be assisted through government education reforms and initiatives. Government has provided various programs to ensure all Fijians have access to education through free tuition, bus fare assistance, wheat bix, milk, all the things that we've been talking about, parenthood assistance and so forth. And this will continue into the new year. Madam Speaker, cordial relations between workers and employees are important in producing good faith employment relations in health and safety, productivity and social justice in the workplace. Our mediation services supports this through timely and effective resolution of workplace disputes between employees and workers, and we have been allocated $1.1 million to carry out this work. Our mediation service will continue to provide all those services so that we can have social dialogue and consultation. Is something that we will continue to strive for in our ministry. Over and above that, Madam Speaker, I'd just like to think I have a few more minutes left. There's 2 points that I think I wanted to focus on. There's been a lot of talk about the fact that while this has been mentioning that the budget itself is trying to focus on the family, that it is not been based on the family. But the thing that I mentioned right from the very outset, that if you look at all the budget of the Fiji First government, there has been a consistency in what we've been doing over the first few years. Now that we have this leave on extending maternity leave, paternity leave, and what's the other thing? $1,000 per child, family care. That is just something that is a further extension to our focus on the family that has been in place ever since we came into power. Not just when Fiji First took over leadership of the country, but when the Bainimarama government that was there. I was just looking at the things that we've had in the past. As I mentioned, all that assistance for food vouchers. For when a rural mother becomes pregnant, government is already giving them food vouchers to make sure that the child being created in the womb is being fed the right kind of food so that the child comes out there. That's the kind of thing we've been doing. Now, when the child is born, the person is given another $500 when they're registered to make sure they can buy the clothes for the child and look after them at that time. And then when they go to school, early childhood education, look at all that assistance that is there. Primary school, secondary school, tertiary, all of that assistance has been put in place to look after the families. Over and above that, this government has been focused on the needs of the most marginalized. No other government has done this. People have talked about the national minimum wage being too low, but no other government put in the national minimum wage. We put it in at $2, we raised it to $2.32, we raised it to $2.68, and we will raise it again in the future. But when you look at the impact of what government does on the most marginalized, it's not just the national minimum wage, it's also all the other assistance that we do. All the other assistance that we do. When we hired the consultant to come and look at our national minimum wage, he found that poverty was reduced. The workers themselves that we surveyed said poverty for them was reduced by 70% by the impact of all of these social wages. The ones in the Ministry of Social Welfare, in the Ministry of Education, all across government. The people of this country know that this budget is for their families and for their future, and they know that the government that will stand up for them, that will take them into the future, the future that is best for them will be the one that will be led by Fiji First. With those words, Mr. Speaker, I think this might be the last session that we meet. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to serve in Parliament. Thank you to my fellow members here. Thank you also for the members of the opposition for the debates that we've had, for the comedy at certain times and the joy that we had. I see that you're waving. I hope that I wave one that next year after this we can come and shake hands again here. Nobody